In today's reading, we're going to be exploring the energies that are accompanying this eclipse journey. Going back just a couple of days to the last full moon on July 29th and progressing through August 12th, which is the first new moon since the nodes changed signs on July 26th. The south node moved into Leo and the north node into Aquarius. And there will be a solar eclipse on August 12th, which is also the day of the full moon. And there will be a partial lunar eclipse on August 28th, the new moon. So we're going to be exploring what is taking place in this period of time, what's coming to fruition and being released. And to give us some context, I pulled a card from the Tarot of the She deck, and it is once again the Wheel of Fortune. So it's giving fate. This is a very fated time. It's going to look different for each of us depending on our own charts and what we're going through, but hopefully I can give us a glimpse of the energies that are available for us to work with and that will be working with us unconsciously if we don't take the reins. Let's get started. So with the node switch on July 26th, as I said, South Node in Leo, North Node in Aquarius, we are also kicking off the lessons of the next 18 months with this eclipse procession, if you will. South Node in Leo, we're leaving something of our Leo selves behind, right? It's Leo season now. Jupiter is in Leo. Mercury is in Leo. This is a time that we are going to be able to become aware of our own Leo shadow. We're going to shed some light on what we're going to work on improving or leaving behind over the next 18 months. This card here represents the last full moon, July 29th. This represents the new moon and solar eclipse on August 12th. And this represents the return of the full moon and partial lunar eclipse on August 28th. Wow, that's so great. Look at those fives. Fives, which typically speak of loss. Dancer 5, 5 of Cups, labeled where loss resides here in this deck. Maker 5, 5 of Pentacles, Winter's Bite, and the Dreamer, Ace of Swords. I don't want us to be fearful of this. I want us to remember that every ending is a new beginning. There are things that have outlived their usefulness to us that may need to be left behind, and it's time for that. 5 is not the end of the road or the end of the journey. You're just midway through, you know? It's a turning point. Perhaps we're losing to gain. Okay, so I'm not going to read this as a scary premonition of what is to come. When I look at July 29th, Ace of Swords, I see that some new thought dawned on you. Something sort of most likely came out of nowhere and said, oh, but what if your life looked totally different than you thought it would yesterday? And you started thinking, well, yeah, what if? And that's going to guide your thoughts and your emotions for the rest of this month. As this thought grows, comes to fruition, and ultimately has consequences. From what I'm seeing here, this is the consequences of this new thought growing in your life means you're going to have to get rid of something else. The sword is going to be cutting away that which does not conform to your new way of being. I'd like to focus in more on these two fives, the August 12th new moon and the August 28th full moon, and what might be taking place between these two eclipses. We're eclipsing something out of our life, something that is both emotionally meaningful to us, most likely, and that affects us practically on a day-to-day basis. What I love about this card, the Five of Cups in the Tarot of the Sidhe, is it'll never let you forget that every ending is a new beginning. Because although she's watching her ship sail away and the petals are falling off her rose and all she can see are these storm clouds here, the light is coming through and there's another rose growing for her in the corner, and all she has to do is turn around to see it. And I would say something similar, I suppose, about Maker 5, Winter's Bite. We know that after winter always comes spring. The sun always rises again in the morning. And so we just need to keep that in mind this month, even if we're forced to say goodbye to something that we didn't suspect would be leaving us. It could be anything. It could be a job. Maybe all of a sudden you realize that there's a different opportunity, a better opportunity, an opportunity that is more in line with who you are now than when you started. Even if you're currently working a job that you once considered your dream job, people change, things change, circumstances change, and you're in a different place. You're a different person now than you were before. So it might mean saying goodbye to a dream job, a dream home, to the person you thought you were. In romantic situations, it could be a breakup, a sudden parting of ways, or a friendship. It could be giving up. This is going to sound bad, but giving up on a dream that you once held sacred because now you have reevaluated your life and the world and things look different and you have a different dream now. Things don't go away for no reason, right? Things change and pass from our lives to make room for more, for different. But they don't just go away and leave you with nothing. So there's always reasons to have hope. The Dancer 5 looks really rough. It looks like something you're saying goodbye to is something you considered your whole world. Something that gave you life. Something that was the very root of your creative essence. At least once upon a time, it meant these things to you. I don't know if you're choosing, if you will be choosing to part with this, or if this is something that's going to be sort of suddenly ripped away from you. With this loss of sort of physical security, you're going to be starting something new. You're going to get a glimpse of what your new day-to-day life could look like. I would say don't try to make sense of it at this point. Don't blame yourself. Don't get lost in the internal mire. A sudden loss of something that helped you condition who you are, a sudden loss of something that was so central to your understanding of yourself could be devastating if you let it bog you down. And I don't believe that now is the time for that. It's harvest season. What will be, will be. Remember, the context we're operating with for this eclipse season is the Wheel of Fortune. What will be, will be. You have to let it come and let it go, and there will be time to reassess the situation later on, to build those new foundations, to rebuild what has been knocked down. But I suggest that you try your best to not get in your head about it for now. Another thing I'd like to say about Maker 5, Five of Pentacles is that if we're talking about some kind of like job loss or loss of income, we could be, or loss of home, or, you know, something that provides us with a sense of stability. Again, I think right now is not the time to worry about having a new direction, a roadmap for the future, a new big idea or anything like that. I think we'll get a glimpse of that. We'll still have what we absolutely need, okay? It can be scary when our plans for the future go up in smoke, of course. But again, I just want to reiterate that things are passing to make room for new and better experiences. So we're really going to lean on this page of stones or this page of pentacles, which is going to give us that glimpse of the future and also is going to be our signifier that we're fine, everything's going to be okay. Like as scary as it seems, as tight as bills might be this month, on the other side it'll be okay, and we just can't see it yet. We can't know it yet, and it's not going to be helpful to try to dwell on what that's going to look like. It's really a time for faith. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about faith and hope in the face of loss. Wow. Wow, sorry, that was my cat. My beautiful, precious, perfect angel. Her name is Mikitsa. And it's all good now. So yeah, I want to talk to the Rider-Waite and I want to get more information about the situation. I just want to try to understand. What I'm getting from this is that you have been sort of trudging along blind for a while, not really knowing where you're going to end up, and just trusting, again, faith in the way you feel. But did the way you feel about this thing change? Because what I'm seeing is that you're withdrawing your energy, you're withdrawing your will, you're withdrawing your emotions. This is something perhaps that you are choosing, and maybe it's subconscious or unconscious, but I want you to consider, if this comes to pass in your life, the idea that you might have chosen it. As much as it hurts, that this is not only fate, but that this is something that you willed for yourself somewhere along the path, somewhere in your soul journey. We got the Hermit reversed again, which we got for the Maker 5 Hermit reversed with the Wildwood Tarot as well. And the Justice reverse card. Again, they're both giving me, don't try to make sense of it. You don't have to try to make sense of it. That's only going to drive you crazy. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. This isn't as simple as karma. You did bad and you got punished, or they did bad and they got punished, or whatever it is, whatever that looks like. It's not that simple, and it's not going to make sense right now. So don't get lost in looking for blame, looking for someone to blame, whether it's you or them or outside factors. Don't worry about that right now. You can and you will. This reminds me of the Page of Stones, Page of Pentacles, in the sense that it's about getting a glimpse of the possibilities of the future. You've conquered something. You've conquered something small, something close to home, and now you're looking out thinking, oh, there's a whole big world out there, okay? Like whatever I've lost, whatever period of time and experience has passed here, there's so much goodness on the horizon. There's so much for you still to live for and to accomplish and to love. It's there. And again, it's about having that faith. It's not about trying to see what that is going to look like and knowing for sure now is not the time. Once again, I want to remind you that we're talking about this eclipse season giving us a glimpse of the work we'll be doing with the nodes over the next 18 months. Again, South Node in Leo. So being able to give up or transmute our own Leo shadow, pride, arrogance, ego, individualism. I love your individuality, and no one would ever ask you to give that up. But individualism, selfishness, perhaps. And coming into North Node in Aquarius. So something here about being yourself for the greater good, standing out for the greater good, being a pioneering presence. Not ego for ego's sake, but building yourself up so that you may lead the collective to a better place. So, whatever these fives mean, they're clearing the way for that. They're clearing the way for that, and you just cannot dwell in whatever is lost. But this card wanted to talk to us. There's something new. There's something new growing. It reminds me of a card I pulled for Lunasa, which we're also in the Lunasa season. Was 22. It's the seed of life. There's something gestating and germinating in there. And this eclipse season is just clearing the brush so that new life can grow fresh and abundant. Before we close this reading, I'm feeling drawn to pull a card from the White Light Oracle. Give us some just words of wisdom we can take on our journey here. Beta of Spirit Wolf. Give yourself enough rest. Only then will you be able to ground yourself enough to cultivate focus and motivation to fulfill your path. You will find a way through any tricky situation as you tune into your instincts and trust your own timing. From times of change and uncertainty comes confidence, love, and resilience. Embrace transition. Commit to your tasks and stay focused, but be flexible in your approach. You have the skill to intuitively handle any issue. Spirit Wolf calls for lunar wisdom, for honoring the non-rational knowing of intuition, for trusting our spiritual instincts and inner sense of timing. He is the unconventional yet reliable pathfinder. He shows us how to be flexible while remaining connected to our higher purpose. Beta of Spirit Wolf brings the message that your resourcefulness and capacity to meet your needs is greater than you realize. We have it within us to engage all situations with courage and willingness. We will always find a way through. This message is going to be so relevant this month, I think, because these fives, this loss, that can be really scary. That can trigger us into a downward spiral of stress and anxiety and blame and guilt. And what if I had done this? What if I had done that? Should I have made a different choice? What have I done with my life? Those kinds of things. I can see people getting really wrapped up in that. And what you need to remember is that you are strong. You are resilient. You are made of love. And this is the middle, not the end. Beautiful things await you and all of us on the other side of this transit.